Welcome to morning yoga. Today's practice is going to be all about making space. Space in our mind for ease of thoughts and space in our body for ease of movements. We'll start on our knees, so join me on your mat. So starting on your knees, you could be in hero's pose. I'm just gonna sit my hips right on my butt right on my heels. And we're going to start with finding some breath. So notice what you brought with you. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Maybe sigh it out the mouth. And then close your lips and settle in. Finding a nice smooth nose-to-nose breath. Maybe the inhale sets you up a little taller. And the exhales, drop your shoulders down your back. Let them melt towards the floor. And we'll just start a little with our neck. So taking your head to shake your head no, smoothly and slowly, one side to the other. A few times, just checking in. No big movements, no need to yank or push. Just finding what we brought to the mat with us. And then let's come back to center and shake our head yes. Again, not crunching the neck, but just finding what kind of movement you brought this morning or whatever time of day. A couple more. Coming back to that nose to nose, inhale and exhale. And we'll find stillness at the center. Sit up tall. Drop the left ear towards the left shoulder. So make any adjustments in your mind's eye of what it means to drop the ear towards the shoulder. Sometimes I find my head tipped down or back. So just trying to be parallel here. And then we'll take a couple breaths. Let the exhales really be deep and relieving. So you kind of settle a little bit deeper to the left side. Give yourself some space down the back so your shoulders are away from your ears. Then take this right hand out to the side. We're going to have the fingertips pointing to the right. Flex the hand as if it's setting on a table in mid-air. Couple exhales here. Really feeling into just this movement. And then we'll start to take this hand forward and backward in space really slowly. And what you're looking for is where you get a deeper stretch. Really flex the fingers up. And once you find that place that gives you a nice deep stretch, take 2 breaths here. Bring that hand back to the lap, neck up to neutral. We'll take it on the other side. So first, right ear to right shoulder. Let the shoulders glide down the back. Take a breath here to really settle into just this movement. And we'll take the left hand out, flex it, press against the imaginary table. A couple breaths here. Maybe you feel in your arm that nice stretch coming right up from you get this forearm use. And then start to slowly slide the arm forward and backward in space, finding where that best stretch is. And settling in for a couple breaths. So everything below the neck is relaxing down towards the floor, melting towards the floor. And bring your hand back to your lap and gently bring your head back to your neutral. We'll move really slowly and intentionally today because I think that's one of the best places to find presence on the mat and to be really kind to your body. Bring your hands to the mat and I'm just going to turn so you can see my feet. Keeping your feet flat against the floor and bringing a little bit of space between your knees. We're just going to send the hips back to the heels again. And then walk the hands back and we'll start to see if we can lift. Maybe that's enough stretch in the tops of your feet already. But maybe you start to lift your knees off the ground and really open up the tops of the feet and the front of the ankles. Deep exhales here. Send the exhale right to where you feel that tension. opening up a little space in our feet. And then walk back onto your hands and knees, and we'll curl the toes under and just really gently send the hips back, just enough to open up the tops of the feet. Open up the toes. I feel it on the bottoms of the feet too. It's back to cool weather, and I'm back in boots and socks. And oh, feet are craving this opening. Come back to neutral. Let's uncurl the toes if you want to pat them on the mat, get the blood rushing back. And then we're going to take the knees almost as wide as the mat, big toes together, send the hips back, and let's find a nice child's pose. A few breaths here. Once you get into your place where your arms are really stretching, you feel that on your shoulders, send the hips back a little bit, and then just bring the forehead to the mat and really start to let the exhales melt you into the ground. So maybe you notice your elbows start to bend a little as you relax. That's what we're looking for today. This really relaxed, easy space in each movement. Come back to deep inhales and exhales. Take 2 more breaths here. Spread your fingers wide. Make as much of your hand as possible imprint onto the mat. And then you'll come up to your elbows and then slowly right back to hands and knees. Knees are still wide. Bring the left hand in front of your face. Let's find some space in the shoulder. So on an inhale, let's take the right arm. You could even take it out like an airplane to the right and then up to the sky. And here I usually cue gaze up at the thumb. This time, let's find space in the neck. So maybe look down at your left fingers. Lengthen the spine, crown of the head pointing towards the mat. And then play with gazing up at the thumb. And find some place in between where you feel the most space in your neck. You feel like you have the longest spine. One more inhale here. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bring that hand to the mat. Replace the right hand where the left hand was, and we'll take it on the other side. So bring the hand out to the side and then up to the sky. And then you take this time to play with your long neck. Two more breaths here. And the last exhale, lower that hand. And from right here, let's take some cats and cows. This wide knee, to me, feels so good on the low back. So let's see how it's working for you. On an inhale, lift the chin, the chest, and the tail to the sky. Sinking the belly towards the ground. Let's take a couple breaths right here in our modified cow pose. Notice how the inhales and exhales move you just in little ways. And the next exhale, curl your chin into your chest, tuck the tail under, find that cat back. Back is reaching towards the ceiling, feeling that stretch across the back body. Deep inhale, you'll feel it expand even a little more as your lungs fill up. And exhale, curl everything in a little bit more. One more breath right here. Then we'll find neutral spine, lengthening the spine so the crown of the head's pointing forward, the tail is pointing backward, and bring the knees in line with the hands, and then tops of the feet behind that, 2 parallel lines. From here, we're going to curl the toes under and come up into down dog, keeping the knees really bent. Really keep the knees bent here. Maybe adjust the hands a little bit more so they're a little wider. And then straighten the right knee so the heel might find a little bit closer to the ground. Bend deeper into the left knee, and then we'll switch. Straighten the left leg, bend deep into the right knee. See if you find that your heel comes a little closer to the ground this way. And then pedal it out, alternating, bending and straightening each leg.
Again, we're looking for space here. So push away from the mats and the hips closer to the sky. Gaze at the knees and try to let your head drop so that your ears and your biceps line up. Again, this is all just a place to go in your mind's eye to help with alignment, but so many adjustments to be made to make it feel good for you. And an inhale, look forward, bend into the knees, and we're going to step one foot behind each hand. Hopefully this is not a twister move for you. So our feet are a little wider than hips width. Their knees are bent. Our hands are flat on the floor. And then find opposite elbows with your hands. And we'll just rock side to side. Nice deep bend in the knees. This is so kind on the low back. Then maybe you release your hands or keep them where they are at and try to straighten the backs of the legs. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight, just finding a little extra space by bending into the knees and then straightening. You create a little extra space. And then let's just roll all the way up to standing. Nice and slow, arms can release, come out to the side and overhead. Let the palms find each other. Slide the hands through heart center. Nice. From here, let's come to put your attention on your feet. So hands can stay here or they can come to your sides, palms shining forward, either one. And then we'll just come up onto the toes and lower onto the ground, maybe lift the toes off the ground. And then settle each toe down, feeling into all four corners of your feet, making some extra space for your feet to be firmly planted in the mat. Nice. From here, arms come down, around, and up. Let them come together overhead. And once they kiss together, separate them into a V. And you're noticing here, so bring the hands together. Notice where your shoulders are in relation to your ears, and then start to bring them into a V. And notice how your shoulders maybe glide down your back. If you're tight in your armpits and your shoulders like I am, this is a much more stable space to be. We're going to hold here, so get strong. And then we've got from the ground up, our feet are firmly planted. Maybe bend into the knees and straighten them, feel nice and firm all the way through your legs. And we get to the pelvis. Let's try to drop the pelvis into space. Might feel like you're tucking the tailbone, but you're just trying to get firm here. And then pull the rib cage in so you're nice and firmly supported in your core. And we'll take a side bend to the right. 3 breaths here. So feel really supported from the ground up. Again, find space in your neck, so maybe look down at the ground. Then slowly pivot your neck and look up at the left elbow. And then find the space in between where you feel your neck is longest. One more breath here. Feel that side stretch, space opening up in the left side. Inhale, lift to center. Exhale, side bend to the left. Find all those adjustments with your long neck. Two more breaths. Pull the rib cage in. Feel supported in your core. Little bend in the knees. Inhale up to center, and exhale, we'll just take a swan dive. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Let's step the left knee back, or the left foot back. We're coming down to the left knee. Uncurl the toes, bring the hands to the knee, and we're going to isometrically send, without moving anything, really send the right foot towards the left knee. So you're kind of pulling together here, just isometrically. Nothing's really moving except for internally. We're going to hold here for 3 breaths. Release the muscles, bring the hands to the ground, and let's lean forward into this stretch, finding some space in the left thigh. Sending some exhales to that hip flexor on the left. Inhale, come back to where your knee is over your ankle. Bring the hands back to the thigh, and one more time, isometrically sending the knee to the back of the knee to the front of the mat, the right foot to the back of the mat. 3 breaths here. I'm going to release some psoas tension. After your third exhale, hands come to the mat, and we're just going to lunge forward. Really supported with our hands on the mat. Plant the hands. We'll come back to down dog just so we can reset. Pedal that out. You might notice a little difference on your right and left side. That is what we're looking for. Left foot comes forward, right knee to the ground. Let's start with hands on the left knee. Send the left foot to the back of the mat. Right knee to the front. 3 breaths. After that third exhale, hands come to the mat and we lunge forward. 3 breaths here. Again, from the ground up, feel firmly supported by the floor. Inhale, come back to that kneeling pose. 3 breaths. Isometrically pulling together. Should feel this all up the front thigh, left calf. Hands come to the mat, lunge in, 3 breaths. Gaze is just at the floor. We'll step that left foot back and come back into down dog. Once again, we're going to look forward and bring those feet behind the hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise to standing. Find that big volcano V. And then let the hands come together and slide through heart center. Let's take that 2 more times. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Find the V. Bring the hands together, slide them through heart center. 2 more, your own breath measure. Deep inhales to bring the hands up. Deep exhale to slide the hands to heart. 1 more. Let's take it all the way down to forward fold. Deep bend in the knees. Take a half lift. Pull the belly button up and then forward fold again. That makes a little more space for a flat back. From here, we're going to step the right toes to the back of the mat. You can pivot them. We're going to come into warrior 1, but we want to feel really grounded from the feet up. So maybe a little extra space than you would normally do in your warrior 1, just to see what that does for the low back. When you're ready, inhale, arms come up overhead. And then settle deep into this lunge. Adjusting your feet so you can make space for the left knee to really bend. Bring the hands together. And then just like we did in mountain pose, bring them into a V. Find that spot where your shoulders really glide down your back. And then play with the pelvis, tilting the tailbone in and out and finding that space where your spine is so long. Gaze goes up gently. And let's open up into warrior 2. So spinning to the side, widening the stance so you have room to lunge. And then with the fingertips, bring the pinkies closer together on the back. Exhale down. Gaze over the left fingers. What else could you do here to find more room and space, to find some ease in this posture? Flip the left palm. Let's reverse this. Keep the lunge, so lunge in. And then maybe here it's playing with your neck and your gaze to get longer. Find some space in the side body. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, bring the forearm to the thigh. Right arm goes up. And maybe the space finding is in your neck and your gaze. And it could also be in this arm. So the arm might reach overhead, bicep by the ear, rolling the chest to the sky. One more deep inhale. Exhale, sink into the lunge. Gaze goes down. Right hand comes to the ground. And we'll pivot just enough to take this twist. Just like we did when we were kneeling, finding space in the neck. One more inhale. Exhale, bring the hand down, and we're going to step the right foot up to meet the left. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Take a couple breaths here. Coming back to your smooth inhale and exhale. My feet are a little bit apart. Gaze is down. Or gaze is at the knees, crown of the head is down. Bring the fingertips to the mat, look forward, step the left toes back, and set yourself up for warrior one on this side. Inhale, arms come up. You know the drill from the ground up. Find this warrior, make space. Maybe you want to play around with your stance a little bit, or where your arms are in space. 2 more breaths. On the inhale, straighten the knee so you can open up to warrior 2. Adjust your stance and start from the toes to the crown of the head. Got 2 more breaths here. Flip the right palm, take the left hand down the back, find a side bend. Maybe even bend the arm and then straighten it again. Finding a little more reach. Deep lunge. 2 more breaths. Bring the right forearm to the right knee, thigh. Make space for the side angle. Lots of places to go here, if you choose. 1 more breath. Exhale, gaze go down. Bring the left hand to the ground, right hand to the sky, take a twist. Notice I hopped my left foot up so I could make more room for a lunge. Exhale, bring the right hand to the ground. And from here, we're going to step back into plank. Enjoy this plank. Maybe come to the side edges of your feet and then flip to the other side. Maybe just hold plank. From here, we're going to come all the way down to our belly. One more space that I woke up this morning feeling like I needed to find to bring your forehead to the ground. Left arm goes out to the side, like half a T. We'll use the right hand to push into the mat and roll onto the left side. Maybe right up onto the hips. Open up these tight, you can bring your head to the ground. Open up these tight armpits. Deep exhales. Send them right to that space where you feel any tension or pulling. If you went too far in, roll back out a little bit. Two more breaths. Try to relax your hips. I notice mine clenching. Then come back to your belly. We'll set this up on the other side. Left hand pushes away from the mat. Right hand out to the side. Roll up onto the right hip. Head can be on the mat. Sending all the attention to this right shoulder, right armpit. Got about 5 breaths here. Bring your attention right back to your nose. You're sending those exhales to your arm. Nothing else need to be worried about right now. roll onto your belly. Last posture here. Bring your arms in front of your face so that you can lay your forehead down. Feet go towards the corners of the mat. Toes come off, maybe off the mat, or just really relaxed feet. This is Crocodile Pose. Bring your forehead down. Put your attention in your belly. We're going to make space in the lungs by sending our breath our inhales right down into your belly. Feel it expand. We exhale, feel everything compress. Deep inhale, hear it in your ears. Deep exhale. Find that ocean breath. 3 more just like that. Five more all on your own. Try to relax everything from the crown of the head to the toes. Just focus on those deep belly breaths. And from here, you can either stay right where you're at, continuing in Crocodile Pose, working on your deep breaths, or you can join me in a seat.
Thank you so much for joining for this practice to make more space. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I hope that you find some ways to find the ease in your movements and in your thinking. Have a great day.